Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And SandyClaws.
And Jacob Wile too.
And two of the three of us just got done seeing The Incredibles 2. And one of the three of us just won a new car. No, not really. All right. So, Jacob, I'm so sorry that you were the one of the three of us that didn't get to see it. No, I'm kidding. I'm the one that didn't get to see it yet. Okay, so suffice to say, folks, this is going to be the Sandy and Jacob edition of the non-spoiler first reactions. Tomorrow night, Dragon and I will be sharing our first reaction. So that's important, folks, because this is a really big movie. And we really want to just get as many wide opinions out there as possible. And, you know, frankly, it's Incredibles 2. Come on, it's a big event. We've waited 14 years for this. You know, we need to kind of get the opinions spread across the board here for this.
Yeah.
And importantly, we'll also be doing a spoiler cast a little later on in the week. But let's not dilly-dally any longer. Who wants to go first? I hope none of you guys think it sucks.
Well, I think I probably don't like it more than Jacob does.
All right, and keep in mind, of course, this is all non-spoiler.
Yeah. Well, I guess since I'm the one talking here, I had really big hopes for this movie, and it certainly satisfied a lot of those hopes. I got to see a double feature. I think Jacob did too, but so I thought it started at 7, but it started at 6. So I missed the first hour or so of.
Oh shoot!
It wasn't a big deal. I saw it just a few days ago at school, and so really didn't want to sit through the whole thing, anyways. But yeah, it's like I got to sit through the second half of the first movie, and then of course the second one, which it's. I'm trying to arrange this in a way without giving away any spoilers. Can I just say one thing? The villain in the teaser trailer, from the moment I saw him, I knew this guy is gonna be a little bit of a letdown. And I was right. For me, it was a big letdown. I'm not saying too much, am I?
No, you're not. That's fine. Okay. I mean, it's tough to top Jason Lee's Syndrome, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Syndrome himself is he's a really goofy character. I mean, he looks really weird. You know, he's voiced by Jason Lee, who's not, the ideal actor for a supervillain, but I don't know. Just the name Screenslaver for this movie. I knew it's just from his brief appearance in the trailer. I knew it wasn't gonna live up. Definitely didn't. It just seemed very half baked, the whole villain thing. For me at least. Jacob, what do you think about it?
I honestly think the villain was well written into the film's story as a whole. Like,
I
don't know if I do think it worked.
I really couldn't find any motivation for why the villain was wanting to be evil, I guess.
And from what I saw, they explained it quite clearly.
Yeah, maybe they did, but I mean, it just didn't seem like enough motivation for wanting to basically get rid of superheroes. I don't know. I'm trying to find my words to that.
Well, let's Jacob, just kind of give me your first reactions as a whole, because you haven't really said much yet.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed the movie. I mean, I thought it was obviously the animation. I mean, seeing them side by side, you can definitely tell how much time and Pixar's taken to hone their craft since the first movie came out. Like, everything just looks like so much brighter and vibrant and definitely allowed them to like be a lot more creative with their action set pieces. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And the characters, some of them you can tell have really evolved. Like Tony Ridinger, you can tell his character design definitely changed drastically.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean without saying too much, he's a pretty big part of the movie actually. Um, I'll say one thing. Coming out of this movie, I think Violet might be my new favorite character.
Violet's
yeah.
always been my favorite character.
Really?
Violet's a good character, and Violet's great in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was a really big part of this movie's story. Just of course, what we saw in the trailer with her, getting angry with her, basically her responsibilities. Which I think in the trailer might be a little bit misleading, but of course that's the intention, right? One thing I noticed when I came out is, in the first movie, how Bob's really he's really ambitious and he's really prideful of he's Mr. Incredible and no one can top him. He should be a superhero and no one else should get in his way. He's like that in the first movie.
Sure.
Well, it's definitely carried over to this film. I think that's one thing where I wish it would have put kind of a lid on it, put a cap on it at the end, because we see him really after Elastigirl gets called in to do this big assignment from this company. He starts becoming really. There's this one scene where he's talking on the phone with her, and he just becomes really jealous of how popular she's become.
Okay, can I address one of the concerns I have in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm probably my biggest concern I have with the movie is that the plot is essentially a gender reverse version of the first movie. Now, how much weight does that hold when you guys have actually seen it?
I didn't notice that until you said it now.
But now that I say it, it's like, oh, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not really though.
Yes and no in a sense, because I feel like the first movie definitely did it a lot stronger. It definitely did it. It was much more impactful scenario in the first movie. Where this one, it's I feel like what I was saying before is I feel like a lot of the things in this movie they get started but they don't really finish all too much.
Ooh.
And I feel like the villain especially. It seemed like at the end of the movie when this villain was, defeated and everything, it seemed like things were just getting started, but it was the end of the movie and there was no build up for a second one. They had the Underminer at the end of the first one that built up this movie, but they didn't have any big climactic ending for this film. And that troubled me. But
I think the most important thing about this movie is the family dynamic. So that was there, right?
It was there, yeah. But I wouldn't say it was some big, it was some touching, family stuff. It's kind of seemed like, oh yeah, they're family. Yep, we got to go save the world now.
Oh man, Sandy, you're just I can see why Dragon didn't want to be in on this podcast, man. You're bringing me down, bro.
Oh, sorry. I'm just trying.
Jacob, let's bring some positivity in here. Jacob, tell me some things you loved about the movie.
Yeah. I honestly really think the humor is still on point. The action, the family dynamics are still great, and I definitely wouldn't say that. I mean, pretty much the only way it's gender side is the fact that Elastigirl's in the lead role, essentially.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only.
Kind of like the situation where in Toy Story 1, Buzz is the main character. Toy Story 2, it's Woody's story.
Kinda, yeah.
I think one of the reasons why I like, obviously the first film is always going to be, the top tomato, but one of the reasons why I think the first film's villain story worked, and not exactly the villain story, just more how Bob got called into these assignments, is because he was brought up to this, big exotic island where, there was a bunch of, there were a bunch of different scenarios that you can get yourself involved into. But with this one, there really wasn't. It's basically the entire film. Not really spoiling anything if you've seen the trailers. It's the entire film really takes place in one setting. It's basically just in the city. They don't really go anywhere. And that brought it down a little bit because the first film just had so much character to it. You know, you had the big lava.
Okay, is the architecture on point though? Because that's one of the things I really like about Brad Bird movies is he has a really fine sense of architecture.
Oh yeah,
the architecture and set design is definitely on point.
Okay, well, I mean, I feel like maybe that's just kind of one of the things they're doing to differentiate this movie from the last movie.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, this movie's maybe going for a more urban feel.
Yeah, I see that. I don't think I'm going to be. I know this isn't a spoiler. Syndrome is never mentioned once. Never mentioned once.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Really?
The jet is they mentioned the jet blowing up the house, and that's the closest we ever come to them really talking anything about Syndrome or really anything about the last movie is the jet. Now they lost a bunch of stuff in the explosion. Somehow Bob still has all of his superhero memorabilia that was unharmed, but never mentioned anymore.
Okay, I have an important question.
Yeah.
How is the Breaking Bad combo? How is Jonathan Banks and Bob Odenkirk? How do they do?
They don't interact, but they did really good in their roles, especially.
I figured they wouldn't interact, but
I mean, Odenkirk as Winston was great.
Yeah, Winston was great. I like Winston.
I assume that Jonathan Banks has a little less screen time.
Yes, and he definitely sounds a bit different than Bud Lucky did.
Let me just say something here.
I miss Bud Lucky. I really miss Bud Lucky.
Yeah. This movie, it's in the credits. It said, in memory of Bud Lucky.
Nice. I'm glad they put that in there.
Actually, I unfortunately had to leave before I saw that.
Damn.
Yeah. There's no post-credit scene.
What?
No.
Really?
There wasn't one in the first movie.
Huh. I thought I heard something about a post-credit scene.
No. You think so because all the Marvel movies have post-credit scenes. So they want to, try and emulate something of that type, but there's nothing. Just the Disney logo.
Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of the Disney logo, this isn't really spoiling much considering it's the literal opening of the movie, but they completely redid the opening logo castle in the red and orange Incredible style.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
is there at least like cool animation in the credits?
Yes.
They basically, well, I mean, you know how in the first movie they had the credits in the first few, like the first 60 seconds are all the abstract animation.
Yeah.
They basically just repurposed that same animation for the credits in this film.
Damn. Huh.
I didn't really notice anything else in the credits that seemed animated.
Okay.
But from what I could tell, like it just seemed like repurposed animation from the first film.
All right. Okay, Sandy, I'm going to let you do final thoughts, and then we'll end on a more positive note with Jacob's final thoughts, I guess.
Shoot. Okay. Are we doing the spoiler cast Sunday then?
I'm not sure exactly what day, but we'll get to it. But yeah, we'll definitely have ample opportunity to talk about this movie for sure.
Okay. Personally, I'm definitely going back to see this movie again in the next few days. But personally, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it I'd give it a 7.5.
Okay, that's fair. Jacob? I'm sorry, Sandy. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that for a movie that we've been waiting, over 14 years for, I was expecting a bit more, but Brad Bird's apparently been cooking up the story for that period of time, and I really don't see that the outcome I was expecting from that long await. But yeah, Jacob, go ahead.
Yeah, Jacob, positive. Jacob, positive.
Honestly, I mean, I think there's obviously going to be some disappointments. I mean, it's a movie it's like Star Wars all over again. It's the movies we've been waiting for so long. It's not going to live up to everybody's expectations.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going to set your hopes up way too high, and then you're inevitably going to be disappointed. Then you're going to blend them, and yada yada yada. It's a slippery slope.
Right.
So it's like keep your expectations just pretty much be as good as the original and stuff like that. But I was very, very impressed with it. I mean, the villain is definitely more low key than Syndrome was.
Mm-hmm.
But I really did like the overall tone and message of the movie, and the dynamics are all there. Pretty much all the cogs are meshing together.
Nice. All right, folks. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I have a few souvenirs to show from attending the double.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, first off is I got this pretty nifty lanyard.
Yeah, we never got those. We got the posters, but not the lanyards. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yep. And on the other side, it's basically just saying I attended the double feature.
Nice. Cool.
And last but not least, the poster.
Oh, damn, that's badass. I like that.
I grabbed 6 of them, so if you want one, just I'll send you one.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. I'll definitely take one.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think I grabbed.
All right.
But yeah, those are the things they passed out for people attending the double feature premiere.
Hey, folks, thank you so much, and don't forget, Dragon and I, obviously huge fans of The Incredibles as well. If you want a more positive take on this movie, I'm sure that Dragon is going to walk into this movie like, if it's the worst movie ever, Dragon's still gonna love it. So if you want a more positive take on this movie, definitely watch that podcast. We've been waiting forever for it. We just want to kind of spread the wealth around, and don't forget to check out our spoiler cast. It's so exciting. It's goddamn combustible. That's fire, Robert.